First I thought he was joking, giving me more contracts to sign. But then I started reading. What is this?
Well, as you know, we had some...
What is this?
You're ridiculous! Oh my god.
One eternity later.
Hope the food's better in this joint.
Andrew Garfield, you continue to be my favorite Spider-Man out of the entire universe, and I need you people to remember, I was saying Andrew was my favorite before watching Spider-Man No Way Home. Go back and watch all them cringe stros, man. I made it very clear. But today, what we're going to be discussing here today, guys, is something that kind of came out of the blue that I almost missed and was like, what is going on here? We have here an article actually published by a reputable source talking about some Spider-Man leaks. Oh, bringing back the nostalgia, let me tell you, where they go ahead and claim that Andrew Garfield actually was approached to be the Spider-Man for the Sony spin-off universe, aka the Morbius verse, and he rejected the offer, leading to them wanting to make their own Spider-Man. I'm going to be breaking down all those details here for you guys, giving you my opinions and wondering, did Andrew Garfield make the right decision? Should we force Andrew Garfield to be the Spider-Man of the Sony universe? What plans do they have for him to return then? I really want to hear from all you guys down below because I found this fascinating. Okay, so yes, I was just scrolling online through the Twitter sphere and I saw someone mention that there was an article by Forbes talking about how Andrew Garfield rejected being part of the Morbius verse. And I was like, oh, that's just probably some weird leak that happened online, nothing to worry about here. And then the publication was none other than Forbes, which is like an actual reputable news station. This isn't some gossip website or whatnot, but the weirdest part is Forbes in this entire article is actually referencing a leak and goes as far as to mention in this article that half the stuff they're saying is true and other stuff is unverified at this moment. So it's the only reason I'm going to take a lot of what they're saying here to truth, because otherwise why would Forbes just randomly take some leak they found online if they hadn't heard it's true from their own sources? That's not really professional journalism, and that's all what Forbes is, professional journalism. And as a side note, I want to mention this video might actually be a part 2 because there's so much more involved with this leak that basically lays out Sony's entire plan for the Spider-Man Sony spin-off universe that I'm like, wow, that is an ambitious plan that I don't know if it's good or bad. But right now, we're just going to focus on Andrew Garfield. Towards the end of this Forbes article, they have it here mentioned what the grand plan that Sony is wanting to do with their spin-off universe, and they have it here. The grand plan is a Sinister Six Avengers-style crossover that at the very least will star Venom, Vulture, Morbius, and some others to fight Spider-Man. They want that Spider-Man to be Holland's Spider-Man, but it remains unclear if they're going to work that out with Disney and Marvel. The leak says they approached Andrew Garfield to return to his old Peter Parker role, but he said no, given his recent hugely prestigious and successful movie projects this tracks. And they may retire him and cast a new Spider-Man in this same universe for his, yeah, a bit confusing. If you would have told me before Morbius came out that Andrew was approached to be part of the Sony spin-off universe and he said no, Andrew, I would have been upset. I would have been hurt. I would feel cheated, Mr. Garfield. But then I watched Morbius, and then the utter anger I felt watching those 2 post-credit scenes, the finale of the movie, I'm so glad Andrew said no and dodged a major bullet. Of course, we all want this man to fight Tom Hardy's Venom. It feels like that's a no-brainer, and that would be such a gangbusters movie, and Andrew has not fought a Venom or an alien. It was like basically set up in No Way Home. That would be so awesome, but to be part of the Venom world, he would also have to be part of the Morbius world and everything else going on. So it's kind of interesting to me that Andrew Garfield went ahead and said no to this. Now, a couple of reasons why. Maybe he did read the script for Morbius or saw what was happening, and he was like, yeah, this isn't what I'm coming back for. Because he said in interviews he's willing to be Spider-Man again. He thinks it's right, but he also continues to say for the right project or if it feels right. Something's telling me he basically only wants to return if Marvel Studios, aka Kevin Feige, are involved. Because we can't forget the rough relationship Andrew Garfield has had with Sony, where they basically broke his heart as a Spider-Man fan, and he realized the behind-the-scenes stuff of making Spider-Man movies is not as glamorous as he would like. But there was something about about the partnership with Sony and Marvel that made the project so much better for him. So it could be that he saw what was going on with the Venom, Morbius world, and he's like, this is like a downgrade from No Way Home. If I'm coming back, it's for Secret Wars or some other big project, or heck, maybe his own movie. He doesn't want to be the co-star to something like Morbius. This also really tracks with what we've been hearing. The director of Morbius went ahead and said in interviews before Morbius came out, mind you, spoiling the movie just left and right, that Sony is planning to introduce their own version of a Spider-Man and that we'd find out who that is pretty soon. And this looks like to be a result with Andrew Garfield saying no and not wanting to come back. And if Andrew says no, ain't no way Tobey would say yes to that. Maybe that's why Sony had all those Spider-Man Easter eggs and had to remove them, because they planned for Andrew to be part of it until he said no. It would make so much sense with that mural in the background and that bus stop that was asking where is Spider-Man, hinting at a Spider-Man in that world. But we also got to touch upon this part here where it says they'll retire him. Oh my god, that's even worse. What do you mean you're gonna retire him just because he doesn't want to be part of your little Morbius verse? Maybe it's easier said than done, but I feel like Sony is missing out on a boatload of money if they just do things the right way. The continuous problem that Sony has right now is they don't want to deal with brand confusion. What that basically means is they set up Tom Holland to be their Spider-Man, and they probably have a deal with Marvel for 3 more Spider-Man movies with him. They don't want to give Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 4 or Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 3, because then that would be trying to set them up as the new main Spider-Man, creating brand confusion and competition with someone they had already spent 3 movies building up. I know that sounds dumb, but that is how businesses think, and they want to protect their investment, which is why they're trying to bring these low tier level characters into the spotlight. But there's a way for you to do these Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield movies where you can have them as stars that aren't taking away from Tom Holland. A Spider-Gwen movie starring Andrew Garfield and a multiverse Gwen Stacy, a movie like that would be so phenomenal. Just Andrew Garfield meeting another universe's Gwen Stacy who lost her Peter Parker and he lost his Gwen Stacy, the bond they can share through that, and then the adventure they could go on, and you can call that movie Spider-Gwen, Spider-Woman, and I'm sure Andrew Garfield would be happy to be the co-star alongside Emma Stone. For Tobey Maguire, I also think it's kind of a simple conclusion, but I know people will fight me back on this. A Spider-Girl movie. A movie where we go back to the Sam Raimi universe and we find out that Tobey Maguire and Mary Jane had a child, Spider-Girl, aka May Parker, and then just have a movie about that. Is Peter now struggling with being a father, a superhero, and trying to teach the ropes to his daughter? If he had to pass the mantra of with great power comes great responsibility to another person, would he do it? Would he want that burden on his daughter? And again, you could call that movie Spider-Girl, feature Tobey and Kristen Dunst in the trailers and whatnot, while also setting up a brand new hero to go on adventures on her own. It doesn't take away from our main Spider-Man, and you could do so many cool stories. But no, Sony would rather go ahead and bring in people like Morbius and then force the Vulture out of the MCU and try to build together a multiverse Sinister Six that is just not working, in my opinion. Andrew Garfield is a smart man for saying no, and as much as it hurts me because it could cost him reappearing in other projects because he's not wanting to play ball with Sony's plan, I defend the man and I think he's making the right choice. And when Kevin Feige says, oh, we need the 2 boys in a Secret Wars movie or another film, Sony ain't gonna say no. But again, that's just my opinion. I want to throw it off to you guys. You hear Andrew Garfield had the chance to be the Spider-Man of the Sony spin-off universe, but he rejected it. Do you like that he made that decision? Was it a wise choice? And will this affect his other appearances in future projects? Also, be sure to stay tuned to the channel because we do have CinemaCon going on and Sony's currently holding a panel right now. So hopefully we get some news and I can update you guys on the channel. If not, I'm going to be doing a part 2 where I explain Sony's entire listed plan here for the Sony spin-off Spider-Man universe. It's kind of crazy. But as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.